What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about how I became a software engineer. So give you a little bit of backstory and a little bit of history on my journey to becoming the software engineer that I am today. So sit back, relax, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's get started. For those of you that don't already know me, I go by Cam, or you can call me Cameron. Born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, A-Town stand up, you know. But I've been a software engineer for about 5.5, 6 years now, and I've enjoyed every second of it. During my brief career in software engineering, I've managed to touch a lot of different topics in these last 5.5, 6 years, such as front-end development, back-end development, full-stack development, blockchain development, mobile app development, and there's still so much more that I still have not touched or even had the chance to learn. Outside of software engineering, I am a gamer, skateboarder, I'm at the gym, gotta get the games going. You already know, if I'm not at the gym or skating or streaming, I'm at home just chilling, watching anime or just vibing out. Hey, if you like anime, we can talk anime. I'm always down, hit me up. But that's a little bit about me. Now, moving on, a little bit starting from the beginning. What got me into software development? I would have to say I've known since I was a little kid that I wanted to work in the tech space. I didn't know I wanted to be a software developer until I got a little older and I learned what coding was. So, since about age 3, I was a huge gamer, loved gaming, still do love gaming, but at that age I was just so into it. And one of my early goals was to learn how to code and make games. But as I got older, did a little research, talked to some other friends or, colleagues that were in the field who were older than me, and they all recommended that I steer away from that a little bit starting out and just go with the more feasible route, just being a software developer. So working on, full stack, mobile, back end, front end, that typical web development route. So that was just something I known that I wanted to do since I was a little kid, but I confirmed it as I got older. The other thing that drew me into software development or the tech space in general was just the fact that it was never going to get routine and stale for me. So working other jobs, grocery stores, shoe stores, Best Buy, all that stuff, it was cool at first, but it eventually got to the point where it became routine and I just felt like a robot doing it. Coding is the exact opposite for me, at least. Always giving me something new to look forward to, always refreshing, new problems to solve. I love solving problems. I love challenges. Treat it like a game, ironically, but that was another thing that really got me into wanted to continue down this path of working in the tech space, specifically being a software developer. Now, let's talk education. So for school, I did complete my 4-year bachelor's degree in computer science. I went to Georgia State. I wanted to go to Georgia Tech originally, but tuition would have really hammered me. And I kind of procrastinated on that little entry essay that you had to do, so I was like, whatever. Went ahead and went to Georgia State and pursued my degree there. Now that we got that done, let's actually get to the real question. Is a computer science degree worth it, or do you feel like it's really needed for, moving on in the tech space? Me personally, I don't think you do need a computer science degree. As long as you have the skills to back it up, I really feel that's all that matters. Nobody in an interview, at least for me, has said, hey, yeah, man, we really love your computer science degree, They really care more about the skills and can you produce, what they're working on. So in my opinion, I don't feel like you need a computer science degree. Heck, if I could do it all over again, I would probably go for a boot camp instead, just because I feel like I could learn a lot more in a boot camp compared to what I've done in college. But that's just me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments on this subject. Man, my first internship, it felt like it was just yesterday, but it's been a while. But I got my first internship, what was that, my senior year, right before I graduated. Like literally a few months before graduation is when I got my first internship that summer. I remember it fully. I was applying and applying and applying. I have 100 or so rejection letters trying to apply for all these different entry-level / internships. And man, that was so tough for me. What made that period in my life so tough was the fact that I was working 2 jobs along with going to school full time. So my time was very limited. So the little time I had outside of work and school was devoted towards, studying for exams, keeping up with homework, and a little bit of coding. So whenever I applied for these jobs, they expected me to know, tons of coding. Like I've been doing this for years, but I only been coding for like what since sophomore year. I couldn't afford a laptop until I got into college, so I was already a little bit behind the grain. But that's what made it so tough was the lack of time that I had because I had to work two jobs to provide for myself and to help the family out. So I was a little stuck in a rock and a hard place. But my first internship actually reached back out to me literally when I was about to stop looking. So I was literally over it at that point. I had too many rejection letters. I was like, man, I need to stop wasting my time doing this. Let me actually work a regular job, save up a little bit so I can actually have a little bit more free time. But my first internship took a chance on me. And literally that day when I was literally just about to quit on all of it, they said, hey, we're going to give you a chance. And that's where it all started. Some of the challenges I faced when I first started my internship were one, learning more about the software development process, like in an actual professional setting. So, learning how we come up, scope ideas, business requirements, dev requirements, how we estimate. I learned all of that within my first 2 weeks there. Had my notepad out and ready. I actually met my mentor at my first internship and he taught me a whole lot. My second challenge was communication. Not communication between developers, but communicating to, clients / non-tech associates, so business people, in a way that they can understand what's going on with the code base and the product. So my mentor gave me this very good saying that I still use to this day called explain it to me like I'm 5. You have to be able to explain it clearly enough that, somebody who's not tech savvy can really understand what's going on with the project. And I continuously use that to this day, and that really helped with my communication. My last challenge that I faced in my internship was just, trying to improve as a professional and a developer. So with that, I have many thanks to everybody in my first company that helped me along that path. So being a smaller company, I was able to actually, work alongside the CTO, pick his brain, and just understand, why we were doing things the way we were doing it. So he tutored me on AWS, JavaScript, best practices, you name it. I was able to sit beside him and actually, absorb all the information that he was telling me. And that really pushed me further along in my career. It helped me, not be afraid of failure. I was never afraid of asking questions, but he always encouraged me to ask questions. So always ask questions no matter what you think you don't know. And he just always pushed me to get better, him and my mentor and everybody on the team. So those were my challenges. I'm grateful for them, but just because they made me a better professional and a developer, so I'm happy for it. Again, I'm super grateful that it actually gave a second look at me, even though I was the second option. I'm super happy that I was because it actually pushed me, to want to do better and want to better myself. Now, let's get to the fun part. Advice for new developers or anyone who wants to make that switch into this field. So my first piece of advice would be don't rush the process. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It is a continuous learning process. So come into this, expecting to learn a lot. Take your time and absorb the information that you're learning. Have fun with it. If you're not having fun while you're learning, you're going to burn out really quickly. Second piece of advice that I have, always ask questions. Never be afraid to ask a question. There are so many people in this field who are they have a lot of knowledge and they are willing to share. So always ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask anybody questions. Heck, every meeting at my current job, I'm asking questions. I'm pinging people in Slack like, hey, are you sure this is how we're supposed to do this? Always just, you want to be sure. You never want to assume. Assumptions break pride is what my mentor used to tell me. So that's my second piece of advice. My third piece of advice, do not be afraid to fail. Even though it sucks, failure definitely makes you a better developer. At least for me, I failed so many times. I've broken production, the actual, what the client sees. I've broken production a few times. But even though it sucked at the time, it definitely helps you learn and it definitely makes you better overall. So never be afraid to fail. The team that you're working with, they want to have your back. They're going to have your back. So never be afraid to fail. The last piece of advice that I can give, just have fun. You're building something cool. You're working with cool technology. Enjoy it. Enjoy the process like I said earlier. Have fun building cool things. So to recap, 1, don't rush the process. Take your time and absorb the information. 2, ask questions. Never be afraid to ask questions. 3, do not be afraid of failure. And 4, just have fun building something cool. And it'll take you a long way in this career. Well, we made it to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed everything. Let me know if you guys have any questions about anything else that I may have left out. Don't be afraid to share your experiences in the comments. I want to know. So, hey, don't forget, like and subscribe, and expect more videos coming soon. Until then, peace out.